Hello, everyone. My name is James Anastassiades, and I am pleased to be here with Terry Brennan. About a year ago, Hawaii lost football legend Colt Brennan, and I'm just super excited to have his father, Terry, on here to talk to us a little bit more about Colton's story and how they are doing. So, hi, Terry. Thank you for joining me today. And first of all, I would just like to know how are you guys doing? You know, it's been a year now, and
it has. It's hard to believe.
How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. We're doing good. You know, we're lucky we got the paddle out done with his ashes in Waikiki, because we had originally planned that for October, but because of the COVID and everything and the restrictions, this wasn't going to make happen. So we postponed it until we did it in March. And I think it was a big success. We're real happy with the way everything turned out in the football clinic that they put together. Coach Mahalo and his group of guys, and a lot of the former players were there, and that was great to see. And so, it was good. It worked out real well.
That's awesome. So if you could just kind of talk to us a little bit about Colton's story, you know, from a father's perspective, how it was seeing your son have this amazing journey to success to the University of Hawaii, and just follow up on that. So if you could just kind of talk to us about Colton a little bit, you know, from a maybe deeper perspective as a father, you know.
Well, I mean, I certainly wish he were still here to answer. I'm sure you'd like to hear it from him, but more so than me. But no, Colt he was a very atypical young guy growing up. Yes, he did. Football was something that he really was attracted to at an early age, and he had some proficiency at it. And as time went on and he grew up, he chose to play at a local high school that's really makes the kids accountable for their, for playing football. And it was a good experience for him. And he got to play with a lot of great kids and coaches who along the way, who helped him. And it was a very, very normal time with him. And it was fun. We had a good time.
And then getting into college, you know, and seeing the success he had in Hawaii, as a father, I mean, obviously you must have been super proud, you know, and have you guys had any conversations while he was at the University of Hawaii kind of about that amazing success and what it took to get there?
You know, I don't know if we did. Colt's mom's here too, and Betsy, and we're just, he just took to, obviously, his relationship with Hawaii itself and the people of Hawaii was, something very natural for him. And so that was good because, kids, have all, there are a lot of things that make up a kid. And sure, he had success playing football, but that wasn't the only thing that he had going for him. He had a great personality with people and with things and events. And he just really enjoyed the whole experience of being there in Hawaii and getting to know the people and the young people as well. And it was a good fit for him.
I could imagine. And I just can't help but recall from one interview that I did hear about him was one of his local teammates kind of saying how, he was local, but Colton had a much bigger name than he did. Really speaks about how bought into the Hawaii culture and just kind of like how Hawaii did things. So I can definitely tell that he had a huge personality. And that's super, super great. And I love that you also touched up upon, that it wasn't just football that had going for him. We could all tell like he was just a great person and had a very energetic and great personality. It's something that we off the court love to stress with the younger generation is, unfortunately, like sports do come into an end. So having those hobbies are super important. So did Colton have any hobbies growing up outside of football?
You know what? He whatever he got, he played. He loved playing basketball, and he was in all the youth programs playing basketball, and of course some baseball. He probably wasn't all that successful at baseball, but basketball he loved. And every time that he got an opportunity to play some basketball, either with the football players or just even the basketball players, he took advantage of that. But he just anything that he loved to fish, whether it be ocean fishing or freshwater fishing. He had hobbies of he had a horse collection that he had over the years that he collected little, plastic, whatever horses, and his grandparents were from Colorado, so he got to go visit them quite often. And then he had an older sister, Carrera, and a younger sister, Chanel. And but he was very, very, what you'd say middle of the road type of a kid. Nothing fazed him. He always had a good attitude. And but anything he kind of grew up to learn, he would go in and learn about it, and on his own. So it wasn't just us steering him. He was doing it on his own.
That's incredible. That's so awesome to see, kind of kids. I bet as a parent to see them have all these different intriguing things and just kind of like chase, learning new things. So that's awesome. And then
exactly.
So Colton goes to the pros. Well, a lot of people I've noticed have said, maybe never really given his opportunity. Did he ever really talk to you about how tough that may have been mentally, going from a crazy successful season in Hawaii to the professional level?
It's interesting because he, the pros were a different animal, as we all know. You get into that caliber, it's, it's pretty cut and dry. Either you make it or you don't. And so he was kind of aware, but he seemed to even, had some little success in the spring games and, the preseason games. But I think he's just enjoyed the whole atmosphere of the whole pro experience. And he made friends there too on the team. And, it was a good fit for him.
That's incredible. I mean, how can you not really enjoy, that you got to the top level that you can get to? So that's just awesome to hear that he did really embark and like embrace that entire experience. I mean, from a parent's perspective, did you and Colt ever really have deeper conversations maybe about the mental struggles that he was going through?
That kind of took a life of its own as the years went by and he was out of football. And it was really something that I think he was in a car accident, which was pretty well documented over there in the Big Island. And from that car accident, we knew that Colt was different. His personality had changed, started to change, and we don't know, all the ramifications of the injuries, and we probably never will, But over the years, we just realized that, Colt had some challenges, and it just took a toll with him. He knew he wasn't right. We knew he wasn't right. And even though we tried to address the mental part of it, I don't think we ever were able to get our hands around it.
No, for sure. That's definitely something that's really hard to kind of navigate through, obviously. And I guess, one of the big questions that I do have for you guys, if you are okay with sharing, is
sure.
Like for a lot of parents that may or may not be going through the same situation right now, what's like some advice that you would give to them, a year later, that you guys kind of learned along the journey?
Well, that's a great question. I'm kind of looking at my wife, Betsy, to see if she's got anything comes to her mind. But I guess, it's communication like anything else. You're dealing with an adolescent basically. And he's now, 21, 22, 23 years old. And he's got some challenges. He's made his share of mistakes. And he owned up to those. And he realized that he was struggling. And like I said, we attempted to try and get him the medical help that he needed. But along the lines too, he also had some physical ailments that kind of started kicking up. He had his from football, he had some labrum injuries and knee injuries. And so he was struggling with some medical issues as well as the mental.
Yeah.
And he just, then he got into a cycle of, having trouble sleeping, being depressed. Then he has trouble sleeping. So now he starts to self-medicate. And that's never a good thing because you get on a real merry-go-round with that. And, you start trying different things to try and get some sleep. And it was a struggle, obviously a struggle for him for a long time.
You did mention that he tried to seek help. Was that help through a facility or was he talking to a therapist?
He did a little bit of everything. He had gone to a facility in Bakersfield. He was supposed to stay there for 30 to 45 days. And, he ended up leaving after 20 some days, So I don't know what like I said, I wish you were here. Then you could ask him yourself as to what he was thinking or where he was coming from. But it was tough. And he struggled with it.
Yeah. So earlier this year, they investigated a little bit more into the injury and noticed that he did have stage 1 CTE. And do you guys think that maybe football should take a little bit more care of, trying to pre-diagnose that prior to like season, as part of like the physical aspect,
It's the problem with CTE and the work that the researchers have done and are doing is you really can't pre-screen for this kind of thing. It's something that can only be tested after someone passes away. Yeah. So that's a little frustrating. But, as far as the football, I see kids get hit in the head playing lacrosse, playing soccer. Things are going to happen. And, hopefully, as each year comes around, I know that the NFL is being active and they're trying to, make the rules different as far as how that game's played and also the equipment. Those can all be improved, I think.
Could totally agree. And they are making a really good push trying to make the sport a little bit safer. I'm aware of that. And so I guess kind of just, wrap through from a parent's perspective, it's unfortunate that this does happen throughout the United States a lot. And unfortunately, even this year alone, the NCAA has lost a lot of athletes, as a parent, going through this year, what has really helped you get through it?
Talking and sharing with people like yourself and our family. We're a pretty tight family. Betsy and the two girls, Chanel and Carrera. We have taken an active position in the Colt Legacy Fund, which is to go raise money to help young people with mental illness as well as addiction. And so we're making some strides. We're still in the, early process of it, but we're making some strides. Yeah, we're just sharing and talking and remembering stories and what have you.
And can you kind of, for people listening right now that might want to make donations to the Colt Legacy Fund, can you kind of elaborate a little bit on that and maybe where they could find you guys, how they can help?
I'm looking at Colt's mom right now to see if we have anything. Yeah, I'm sure by Googling the Colt Brennan Legacy Fund, that type of information will come up. But yeah, we're starting to reach out and get exposed to a number of the community services there in Hawaii that are dealing particularly with younger people and some of the challenges they're going through with mental illness as well as addiction. And it's new to us, so we're still feeling our way through it, but we've been able to raise some funds, and that's all good. It's a start.
That's awesome. And I'm glad to hear that you guys took that stride to, help a lot of kids with their mental illnesses and mental health, because it is a huge topic nowadays. And we've seen it greatly in the athletic community. And that's why we all try to strive to make whatever difference that we truly can. Coming just to full circle wrap up, for anyone that's listening to this podcast right now, do you have just something, that you want to either leave them with about either Colt or anything,
Well, I guess, it's everyone's got their life to live. And, Colt tried the best he could. Yes, he had some challenges, some that he brought on his own, but just, reach out if you feel that you're depressed and you need some help, don't be afraid to ask for it, and make the effort to let your parents and your friends know where you're coming from. And, I think that's really it. Just communicating with other people and don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't think you're weak or, an outsider. It's one of those things that is out there and it needs to be addressed. And the sooner you can let someone know that you're having some challenges yourself, that can only be a positive thing.
I'm kind of like lost by words because I think that's just so incredible. And it is very true. I think the earlier that you can be willing to open up about some struggle that you're going through, the easier it is to get through it and also catch it before it becomes something that's very hard to come out of. Right. Terry, I'm just, so thankful for you guys coming onto this podcast and openly talking about your guys' story and your son's story, Colt. He truly left a huge legacy in Hawaii. Until this day, we keep hearing his name, and a lot of football players out here in the local community really strive to be like him. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm actually getting goosebumps right now, just thinking about the whole story and everything.
Great.
And sharing your guys' story. I'm very happy to hear that you and your family are doing okay. And that you guys are trying to make a big move to help, a lot of kids that may be going through the similar situation. I hope that you guys do really well. And if you guys please reach out to the Colt Legacy Foundation, I'm definitely going to look at it as off the court to help out in whatever way that we can.
That's great.
Thank you so much for coming onto the podcast today and sharing.
Well, thank you. You did a good job, James.
I really appreciate
good
you.
Questions. Yeah, you asked great questions, and hopefully we can be of some help. And we're thinking about you guys all the time, and keep thinking of us and keep us in your prayers.
We always will. Thank you so much for being a part of this stride into making kids' mental health a little bit more aware and taken care of in the athletic community. I appreciate you so much.
Take care, James.
Have a good
Call
one.
me anytime.
I will, for sure. Thank you.
Okay. Great seeing you.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.